March 21st, 1987. The stage at Bally's Casino is a pool of light in a sea of darkness. 5,000 faces are turned upward, expectant. The air smells of perfume, cigarette smoke, and anticipation. A drum roll trembles. The spotlight finds him. Dean Martin steps into its glow. He is a silhouette of old Hollywood. The black tuxedo, the perfectly combed hair. An easy, almost lazy smile plays on his lips. The applause that greets him is not just noise. It is a wave of affection, of memory. He lifts a hand. Not a wave, but a simple acknowledgement. The king has arrived. For the next hour, he owns the room. His voice is not what it once was. Decades of scotch and cigarettes have given it a gravelly texture. But it fits him now. It sounds like wisdom, like stories told late at night. He glides through That's Amore. The crowd roars the hey back at him. He grins, that famous, crinkled-eyed grin. For a moment, he is young again. He tells jokes. Old jokes. Comfortable jokes. The audience laughs not because they are new, but because they are his. They are part of the ritual. He is not just performing songs. He is presiding over a shared memory. A collective sigh for a simpler, smoother time. He moves into Memories Are Made of This. Couples sway. There is a warmth in the room that has nothing to do with the stage lights. It is the warmth of nostalgia, willingly surrendered to. Dean moves with a relaxed grace. He seems at peace. More at peace, his band members would later think, than they had seen him in years. But then, a ripple. A disturbance in the dark margin of the stage, just outside the circle of light. Eddie Marsh, Dean's road manager, a man who has handled 1,000 crises, appears. His face is the color of ash. In his hand, a beige telephone, its long cord snaking back into the shadows like an umbilical cord to a world of bad news. Eddie tries to be discreet. He makes a small gesture. Dean, mid-croon in Everybody Loves Somebody, doesn't see it. Eddie's movements become more urgent. A sharp wave. This time, Dean's eyes flicker from the crowd to the wings. The connection is made. Dean's voice catches. The lyric dies on his lips. The band, a well-oiled machine, falters. The trumpet player misses a note. The pianist's hands hover over the keys, confused. The music stutters into silence. The audience is still. Some think it's a comic bit. A pregnant pause. They wait for the punchline. But Dean Martin is not looking at them. He is staring at Eddie Marsh as if seeing a ghost. All the easy charm evaporates. His face becomes a blank page, then one etched with sudden, terrible knowledge. Something's wrong. He says it into the microphone. But his voice is hollow, stripped of all its melodic warmth. It is the flat, cold sound of fact. Excuse me, folks. He does not drop the microphone. He places it carefully, almost tenderly, on the grand piano, as if it is suddenly very heavy. Then he turns. He walks. Not a hurried exit, but a slow, deliberate retreat from the light. His shoulders are set. He does not look back. Behind him, the crowd erupts in uncertain applause. The bandleader, flustered, cues a light, upbeat number. The music tries to fill the void he left. It sounds thin, false. Backstage is another world. The laughter and music are muted here, replaced by the hum of fluorescent lights and a thick, gathering dread. Eddie Marsh is shaking. Tears have cut clean tracks through the stage makeup on his cheeks. He is still clutching the phone. Dean reaches him. He does not ask. His eyes ask the question. Eddie cannot form words. He simply extends the phone, a lifeline to a shipwreck. Dean takes it. He brings it to his ear. Mr. Martin? The voice on the other end is military precise, but strained at the edges. This is Colonel Jensen with the California Air National Guard. I need to speak with you about your son, Captain Dean Paul Martin. The floor beneath Dean's polished dress shoes seems to tilt. The garish pattern on the carpet swims in his vision. He hears words. Training exercise. San Bernardino. Mountains. Poor visibility. Radar. Contact lost. Each one is a hammer blow. The final sentence is the anvil. We have confirmed the aircraft impacted the terrain. There were no survivors. On behalf of the United States Air Force, sir, I offer my deepest condolences. The phone slips from Dean's hand. It hits the floor with a plastic crack. He does not hear it. He is staring at a point on the wall, seeing nothing, seeing everything, seeing a little boy swinging a tennis racket, seeing a young man in a pilot's uniform, smiling with impossible pride. A stage manager, young and anxious, scurries up. Mr. Martin? Dean? What's going on? What should I tell the audience? Dean turns his head. He looks at the young man, but he doesn't see him. He is looking through him, into a vast and howling emptiness. When he speaks, his voice is a dry whisper, each word carved from stone. My son is dead. The words hang in the air, final and absolute. The young manager's face collapses. He stumbles toward the stage to make the awful announcement. The party is over. In his dressing room, the laughter from the showroom is a distant, cruel echo. Dean sits on a low couch, still in his full stage tuxedo. The bow tie feels like a noose. He does not remove it. Eddie Marsh hovers by the door, a silent sentinel of grief. Minutes pass, or maybe hours. Time has lost its meaning. Finally, Dean stirs. He looks at his hands, as if unfamiliar with them. He called me this morning, Dean says, his voice raw. He told me about the weather. Said he was going up anyway. He said he loved me. Dean's jaw tightens, a muscle flickering. He loved to fly. Said it was the only place where everything made sense. He stands up. The movement is stiff, robotic. I have to go home. I have to tell Jean. Jean Martin, Dean's former wife. The mother of his children. Though their marriage had ended years prior, they were forever bound by the 3 lives they created together. The bond of shared parenthood had remained, a tether of respect and enduring care. The car ride from Las Vegas to Beverly Hills is a journey through a tunnel of silence. Dean sits in the back, his profile etched against the passing neon blur of the strip. The glittering lights, symbols of his life's work, now look like cheap baubles, meaningless. Eddie sits beside him, the silence between them a living thing. Jean is already waiting. She stands in the arched doorway of her home, illuminated by the porch light. The news has already reached her. Her body is bowed as if under a physical weight. Her face is ravaged by tears. The car stops. Dean gets out. He walks up the path, each step an effort. When he reaches her, the last of his formidable composure shatters. He does not simply hug her. He falls into her. A great, shuddering collapse. The sobs that rack his frame are silent at first. Then deep, guttural, animal sounds of pain. It is a sound Eddie Marsh will hear in his dreams for the rest of his life. The sound of a heart breaking in real time. The dawn of March 22nd brings no peace. It brings cameras. News vans line the streets outside their homes. The headlines are brutal, sensational. Dean Martin's son killed in jet crash. The world now knows his private agony. Dean does not read them. He sits in Jean's quiet living room, surrounded by family photos. There is Dino, age 10, holding a tennis trophy twice his size. There he is as a teenager, with Desi Arnaz Jr. and Billy Hinch, their pop group Dino. Desi and Billy smiling from a record cover. There he is in his Air Force flight suit, looking more like a movie star than a military man, yet deadly serious. The details of the crash emerge, each one a fresh wound. The F-4 Phantom II, a powerful, unforgiving beast of a jet. The treacherous, cloud-shrouded peaks of the San Bernardino Mountains. The futile search. The eventual discovery of the wreckage, scattered across a remote slope. His son, Captain Dean Paul Martin, and his weapons officer, Captain Ramon Ortiz, were gone. The public memorial is a media spectacle. Dean Martin attends, a solitary figure in dark glasses, flanked by his grieving family. He is a statue of sorrow. At the graveside at Los Angeles National Cemetery, the precision of the military honor guard is both beautiful and horrifying. The sharp crack of the rifle salute makes him flinch. The lonely sound of taps hangs in the air. When a young airman presents him with the tightly folded American flag, Dean takes it. He holds it against his chest, over his heart, as if trying to staunch a wound. His shoulders shake. Behind the dark lenses, the tears fall freely. The image of the unflappable crooner, openly weeping while clutching the flag, is transmitted around the world. This is not Dean Martin the legend. This is a father. Nothing more, nothing less. His closest friend, Frank Sinatra, gives a eulogy. O.L. Blue Eye's voice, usually so commanding, is thick with emotion. He speaks of Dean Paul's courage, his bright spirit. Then he turns to his friend, his brother. Dino, he says, his voice breaking, we're all here. We love you. We loved him. Dean does not look up. He just holds the flag tighter. After the last guest leaves, After the cameras finally retreat, Dean Martin retreats too. He goes into an exile of the soul. He cancels everything. The world expects him to grieve and then, in time, return. He does not return. His Beverly Hills home becomes a mausoleum. The curtains are drawn, shutting out the California sun. The only light comes from the flickering glow of a television screen. He watches home movies on a loop. Dino winning a tennis match. Dino laughing at Christmas. Dino telling a story, his hands moving expressively. Friends try to intervene. Sammy Davis Jr. brings music, tries to joke. Dean offers a ghost of a smile that never reaches his eyes. Shirley MacLaine visits, finding him in the dark. I walked in, and it was like the life had been sucked out of the house. She would recall. Out of him. He told her, Shirley, I can't find the door. I'm in a dark room, and I can't find the door out. His daughter, Deanna, becomes his most frequent visitor. She brings food he doesn't eat. She opens curtains he closes again. She tries to talk about the future, about happy memories. It was like talking to a shadow, she said. The real him, the funny, loving dad. He was gone. He left us that night in Vegas. His health, never robust, deteriorates rapidly. The emphysema from a lifetime of smoking tightens its grip. He grows thin. The famous, handsome face becomes gaunt. The spark in his eyes, the one that had charmed millions, is extinguished. In 1988, there is a brief, failed attempt at a comeback. The ultimate event tour with Sinatra and Sammy. The idea of the Rat Pack reunited sends ticket sales soaring. For a moment, it seems like it might work. The first show is a triumph of nostalgia. But for Dean, it is a hall of mirrors. Every laugh feels like a betrayal. Every song is a reminder of the last one he ever sang. The stage, once his sanctuary, is now a place of haunting. After a few performances, he walks into Frank's dressing room. I can't do it, Frank, he says, his voice a whisper. I'm up there, and all I see is him. In the wings. I keep waiting for him to walk out. Frank Sinatra, a man who understood profound pain, did not argue. He simply took his friend's hand. Okay, Paysan. Okay, you go home. And so, Dean Martin went home for the last time. The final years were a quiet surrender. He existed in a bubble of memory and loss. The outside world moved on. His became smaller and smaller, until it was just the four walls of his room and the images on the screen. On Christmas morning, 1995, 8 years after his son's death, Dean Martin passed away at his home. The official cause was acute respiratory failure. But those who knew him, those who had witnessed the long, slow dimming of his light, knew the true diagnosis. He died of a broken heart. The weight of grief he could not, and would not, set down. At his funeral, his daughter Deanna spoke the truth everyone felt. For 8 years, my father carried a pain so heavy it finally bowed him. He missed Dino every single day. Now we can only hope that he has found him, that they are together, and he is finally at peace. There is a recording from that night at Bally's. It is rarely played. If you listen, you can hear the exact moment. The smooth croon of "Everybody Loves Somebody." Then a hitch, a breath caught, the murmur of a confused crowd. In that silence before the microphone is set down, you can hear a world ending. Not with a bang, but with the soft, terrible sound of a father's heart turning to dust. The story of Dean Martin is not just a showbiz legend. It is a stark reminder that behind the persona, beneath the fame and the laughter, there is always a human being. A man who loved, who lost, and who, like any father, discovered that some sorrows are too vast to survive. His greatest performance was his cool, carefree charm. His truest, most devastating role was that of a grieving parent. And in that, he was tragically, universally, every man.